I'm gonna show you guys how I got a placement with DaBaby. First things first, Avedon is a producer out of Los Angeles, and he's worked very closely with Scott Storch, with Russ, tons of people. Google him, you'll see the crazy list of artists he's worked with. I met up with Avedon, you know, we just got into the session like normal. I think we did 3 beats that day. We made this track, he sent it to an artist named Doobie, and Doobie did a record to it. Then, maybe a couple months after that, Avedon texted me, he's like, yo, we got DaBaby on the remix. After he texted that, next thing I know, the track is out on YouTube. I'll show it to you guys. I'm not gonna play it because of copyright stuff. And just as DaBaby was on his rise, I think Suge was out at the time. Suge was a huge track. This came out. So that's how I got the placement with DaBaby. So right now I'm gonna show you guys a behind the beat in FL and how it came to be. So I'll play you guys a little of the beat first. The beat is simple, sounds dope, and it's definitely perfect for an artist to jump on. I'm gonna let you guys know how I did it. It's a simple drum pattern. The kick drum is called the cheat code kick from Drums That Knock Volume 6. We got the clicked hi-hat and the clicked open hi-hat. They're both called clicked, so you know they go together. That's also from Drums That Knock Volume 6. The clap from the Big Head kit that I got on Splice. That's the drum pattern. This is Celeste Ambient, just the preset from Omnisphere. Avedon played those keys. And then the 808, the Lagoon 808 from Drums That Knock Volume 6. Mean 808. When we listen to 808, you'll see what I did. So there's a lot of glides in it. We have the melody and then the glide notes. For example, this one glides up to this. To do a glide note, you just click, double click it, and make sure this ramp is selected. When I have this long note, it's gonna glide up to whatever note I put that ramp note on. So the whole pattern has a lot of glide notes, and I feel like that's one of the things that makes this track different. After that, we just have a little sound from the Jupiter synth. This is from the Rolling Cloud. Rolling Cloud is amazing. So many amazing synths, tons of dope stuff in there. This is the sound we put in there. And that's just a part of the Jupiter synth in the Rolling Cloud. Then, a hey shout from Drums That Knock Volume 6. This, I think we found it on Splice and like reversed it and did a low pass filter on it. When I work with Avedon, a lot of times we dig through the crates of Splice and just find little sounds and throw them in there. The main melody, I believe, was also from Splice. Yup, this is a Splice sample. And I think we reversed it. We took the little vocal part from that other sample and just added in the verse part. So let's hear it. A lot of the keys are just Omnisphere presets where we played the keys and then we took bits and pieces from Splice samples and chopped them in. I mean, that's pretty much it, y'all. It's a pretty simple beat, but it all came together in such a way where there's nothing going on that distracts. It's a canvas for the artist to jump on, and there's room for the vocals in that. So let's look at the individual tracks, like what did we put on the tracks? On the hi-hat, I used the Fruity Stereo Shaper just to give it width. So a lot of times I'll use Isotope Imager to do that. But with this, I made it wider with the Stereo Shaper. Okay, crazy. So we have a bunch of stuff on this Omnisphere track. One of the Omnisphere presets, this is what we did. We put the Fruity Convolver, which is a convolution reverb. It's stock in FL. And then we did a parametric EQ, cut all the real low frequencies and all the high frequencies. And then we put Glitch 2 on it, which we just use the tape stop effect. So let me show you guys what it sounds like without it and then with it. So that's just the preset from Omnisphere. This is the convolution reverb. Then this is after the EQ. We cut all the highs and all the lows We cut the lows because that made room for the 808. Cut the highs because that makes more room for the vocals to really shine through. And then a glitch 2, that's just that tape stop effect at the end of the loop. I'll show you. 2, 3. Just that tape stop. The only thing on the 808, we did a cut of the high frequencies. All I did was just bring down the high frequency fader in FL, which is just on the channel. And then I put a sound goodizer on it. So this is without the sound goodizer. And this is with it. It just thickened up some of the mids, low mids, and a little bit of the lows. So I cut the highs, make room for the top end, and added the sound goodizer to kind of beef up the low mids. For this particular track, just beef up the bottom. Then on the vocal, that vocal chop, I went into the Fruity Convolver and just added that to the vocal. Pretty straight to the point. Then the master channel. I'll show you guys what I did on the master. So a lot of people swear by the Fruity Soft Clipper, and it's good, but it's missing a lot. All it does is clip. There's a lot more I would like it to do, so I normally don't use it. I know everybody talks about Fruity Soft Clipper, but I didn't even use it. I actually used the limiter, and I'll show you guys why. First thing I did, in linear phase mode, I used the Pro Q2 at the time, because 3 wasn't out yet. And I cut everything below 20, like not a very steep curve, just to kind of refine some of that low end. Because when you cut the lows or the highs, you make more room for the track to be louder. So that's why I cut the low end, just to cut that sub rumble that you don't even really need. Then I used the FL parametric EQ, and I just boosted at 8K and 5K, just a little bit, just about 2 decibels on each. And then the limiter, and I'll show you guys what I did there. I'm gonna show you guys first what it sounds like without any of it. This is with nothing, and this is with everything. The track actually went beyond the ceiling, so the limiter's actually pushing it down and giving it a soft clip sound. So I'm gonna show you guys what I'm doing with the limiter. By default, it looks like this. When you first get into FL, the limiter looks like that. And this is what it would sound like on the track. Not good. What I do is I turn the ceiling all the way up. What that does is allows those peaks to get through. And instead of limiting them through the ceiling, I'm limiting through this saturation knob. Anytime you turn the saturation knob down, it has a soft clipping effect on the sound. As you turn down the saturation knob, it's giving you a different soft clipping curve. You can play with that to get different tones. When it's all the way up, it's more like a hard clip. And when it's down, it's more like a soft clip. So I keep it right about there. Second thing I did was I used the built-in compressor in the limiter. I brought the threshold down just a little bit and turned the ratio 1:7. That's with nothing. And that's just taming some of those loud peaks that come through. So what we're doing here is I have a clip just with a 4-bar loop. When this is turned down, glitch is off, the plugin's off. And when this is up, the plugin turns on. So I just automated the on-off on the channel. So yeah, that's basically it for the limiter. This is not the mixed version. The ironic part is they use the not mixed version when they cut the vocals, but that's another story. This is not the mix that I intended, but when we're in the studio, we're just making it sound good to our ears. So we're not going in and carving frequencies and doing all that. We're just trying to make a banger. This limiter is kind of like a fixer plugin. Like it's making sure nothing's clipping. It's allowing us to soft clip where we want, do some compression, just decorate it before it goes out the box. That's how we made Power Remix with Doobie featuring DaBaby and Icewear Vezzo. DECAP.